Morning, everyone. We're going to be beginning our yoga class this morning. We're starting in child's pose. So I'm going to have you come to your mat. I'm going to start with the wide leg child's pose, resting the belly between the thighs, arms extended out in front of you, spreading out the fingers. Roll your hands slightly forward, keeping the forearms off the floor, but relaxing the forehead on the floor. And taking some nice slow breaths. And then I just want you to shift from side to side, feeling out your child's pose. Noticing what's going on in your low back or your glutes. Gently bringing that forehead off the floor. Just let it hover over the floor as you shift from side to side. And we're going to lift ourselves up into table, bring the knees close together, and go into a narrow child's pose and flip the hands upside down. Knuckles on the floor, opening up the thumbs. See if you can walk the hands a little bit more forward, sinking your bum back in towards your heels. And then turning the hands down, you're going to walk the hands to the right off the mat. Left hand's on the floor, right hand's on top of the left hand, and you're just going to shift into your left shoulder and left hip. Feeling that stretch run alongside the left side of your body, on the outside of the arm, and maybe all the way down towards the outside of your hip. Taking some nice deep breaths. Taking your right hand off, walk back to the center and through to the other side. Left side of the mat, right hand on the floor, left hand on top of the right. Just shift your hips. And then release the hands, walk back to the center, lift up into table position. Just get your knees under your hips, your hands under the shoulder, and starting to round and arch the back into cat-cow. I want you doing this nice and slowly. Work on the flexibility of the spine. And connect the movement with your breath. So you're inhaling as you arch the back and look up. You're exhaling as you round the back and push away from the floor. So round the back and hold the rounding. Hold your cat pose. And I just want you to lean forward into your fingers and then move around and shift around from side to side. So just feeling out that cat pose. And then slowly go into the arch, your cow. And on this one, you're gonna ease into the hips. So you're just wiggling your hips a little, shifting them from side to side. And then going into a neutral position with the spine. Lift your left arm up in front of you, extend it out, thumb up. Right leg is extended out behind you. Hold it here. And then gently release down, hand and leg. Right hand comes up, thumb up. Extend the left leg up, flex the foot. Hold it here. And then release it down. Walk the hands slightly in front of you. We're gonna thread the needle, giving an upper back twist. Take the left arm underneath the right arm. Get the left shoulder on the floor, left ear on the floor. Push into the floor with your right arm, turning your chest towards the ceiling. Slowly release, come back up, and go into the other side. Threading the right arm underneath the left, pushing the left hand into the floor. And then release, bring it back to table position. From this spot, we're gonna fold the feet under. I'm gonna get you to lift up into a downward facing dog, a little bit more of a narrow downward dog. And then I want you to release it back down to your table. So we're gonna lift up from table to downward dog and just start to work out the calves, stretch them out, the hamstring, the low back, the glutes. So just at your own pace from table to a more narrow downward dog. And just pausing in that downward dog as long as you feel it necessary. I'm just getting deeper, deeper into that stretch. Next time you're in downward dog, I'm gonna get you to hold it here and start pedaling out your feet. Alternate heel comes off the ground, and then your other foot, heel pressing right in, getting that stretch all around the heel, your Achilles tendon. Just do a little check for your head, that your head's nice and relaxed, hanging down. Both heels are now pressing into the floor, and then you're gonna come up, bring them up off the floor, and then go back down again. So going into some calf raises, up onto the ball of your feet, and then heels down to the floor. You're looking between your feet, again, keeping that head nice and relaxed. 2 more times. 1 more time. Press the right heel down, lift the left foot off the floor, point the toe, hold it here for a 3-legged dog. Then we're gonna bring that left foot between the hands, go into a warrior 1 stance. So your right foot's on the floor, you're pivoting that right foot in. When you're ready, slowly coming up to warrior 1. I'm gonna get you to web your hands together, web your fingers together, flip your hands upside down, palms facing the ceiling. Press the hands up towards the ceiling. Just check in with your stance here. So your left knee should be bent about a 90 degree. Oh my God, the biggest spider is on my roof. Just looking up and I'm like, there's a huge spider, but it's all good. It's not gonna throw me off. So you're holding warrior 1, your back leg's nice and straight. Make sure you're not locking that knee. Holding that stretch, go into a little bit of a back bend. And then we're gonna separate the hands only. Keeping that warrior 1 stance, spread out the fingers. And then lift the back right heel off the floor, go into crescent moon. Get down a little lower, keep the right leg nice and straight, left leg's bent. Bit more of a back bend if your body allows for it. And then we're gonna slowly come forward, bring the right hand on the floor, your right fingertips on the floor, and then left arm opens up towards the ceiling, and go into a very gentle twist. Right fingertips on the floor, left fingertips towards the ceiling. And then left hand comes down to the floor, right knee goes down to the floor, straighten the left leg. We're just gonna hold a stretch here. So left leg straight, you're gonna kind of wiggle your heel forward, lengthen your spine, and feel a nice stretch going on in the back of the left leg. Lift your chest. And then let's put that left foot down. Don't move anything else. So just your left foot's down. Your fingertips are on the floor. We're leaning forward on this. We're arching our low back a bit. And we should be getting a shin stretch here. If you're tight, maybe stretching the top of the foot as well. And we're going to bend the left leg now. Plant the hands on the floor. Go back into your downward dog, however you want to get there. Whatever works for your body, we're going to go back to foot pedaling. And then settle both heels into the floor. Just hold that downward dog, sink into it a little bit more. Most of the weight's in the legs. Lifting that right foot off the floor, legs extended, pointing the toe. Hold your three-legged dog. And then slowly bring that right foot in between the hands, getting your warrior one stance. Once you feel grounded, slowly come up. We're gonna web our hands, fingers together again, palms up. Bend that right knee a bit more. Extend and reach. Separate the hands, but keep them up. Activate your fingers so they're spread out. Option to look up towards the ceiling. Option to bend your back a bit. Left heel comes up off the floor. Turn your hips and then sink down into crescent moon. Hold it here. Option to go into a little bit more of a back bend. Looks good. Extend those arms nice and straight. And then slowly lean forward, get your left fingertips on the floor. Right hand comes up towards the ceiling so the legs aren't changing. Left leg's nice and straight still. Right knee is bent. Your left fingers are on the floor or your left hand is on the floor. Slowly bring the right hand back to the floor, left knee on the floor. Straighten out the right leg. Wiggle your right heel forward. And just hold that stretch for the back of the leg. Flexing your foot, spreading your toes. Arching your low back, lifting your chest. And now toe down, right foot goes down, feeling that stretch on the top of the foot, maybe running up in towards the shin. We're gonna bend that right knee, go into our downward dog, however you wanna get there. Left leg goes up in the air, point the toe. We're gonna go into a pigeon stretch. So left knee is gonna bend, you're gonna pull it all the way through. Left knee goes towards the left wrist. You're gonna lengthen out that right leg. So just keep walking that right knee back until you feel a nice stretch. We're gonna hold this pigeon stretch, keeping our upper body lifted. So I'm gonna get you coming up onto your fingertips. Just make sure you're not leaning over too much. So we want to kind of equalize the hips. If this is too hard on your knee, then what you can do is lean over and sit on your left bum and just hold this stretch. Otherwise, hips are side by side.
You're up on your fingertips, and I want to see if you can pull yourself back, lean back a little bit more. Work towards stacking your shoulders over your hips. And then we're going to put the hands on the floor, get into your downward facing dog. Fold your right foot over, slowly lift yourself up. Ease into that downward dog, holding it there. Lifting up the right foot, point the toe, then bring the right leg in, tuck the knee in towards the right wrist. Then we're just kind of walking that left leg back, extending the left leg. Place the foot on the floor, hold yourself up. So again, if this bothers your knee, sit on your right bum and just hold the stretch here. If it doesn't, we're trying to even out the hips. We're coming up on our fingertips. Walk your hands back if you need it. Sink into this pose. And we're trying to stack the shoulders over the hip. So this is not stacked, and this would be stacked. And you're going to slowly plant the hands down in front of you, get into your downward facing dog, folding your left foot over, peeling your leg off the floor. And in downward dog, this time I'm going to get you to lift your left foot up and then point your toe down on the floor. So we're looking for stretch on the top of the foot, especially the big toe. So the left leg's nice and straight. You're pressing down into the floor. Keep your bum lifted up. And then place the left foot down. Do the same thing with the right. So right foot's down, toe down, pressing it into the floor. Getting a stretch on the top of the big toe especially. And then place that foot back down to the floor. Your legs are about shoulder width apart. We're going to come to a high plank position. Rest your knees to the floor. Chaturanga. So you're going to be going down to the floor and leading with your chest. Your bum's up in the air. Your chest goes down, then your belly, then your hips. Then you're coming up. I want you to keep your belly on the floor. So just your chest and your ribs are up. And then you're going to lift the legs off the floor and point the toes, holding it here. And then dig the feet into the floor, lift your hips up and come all the way up into a full push-up. So you can do that on your knees or your toes. And then I want you to go for a downward facing dog. So we're going to do that again. We're coming to a plank. On your knees or your toes, lunge forward from your chest. So chest goes down first, my hips are staying up in the air. Then I'm going belly down, then hips down. Then I'm lifting my chest up, ribs up, and then legs up and pointing the toes and holding. Almost no pressure on the hands here. So we're really strengthening and working the low back. Then feet down, dig your feet in. Lift your hips up first from this position, then belly, and then press back. We're going to do this 2 more times. So coming to your plank position, lunge forward from the chest, goes down first, then your belly, then your hips, then your chest comes up, your ribs come up, your legs come up, you're pointing your toe, you're checking with your hands that you're not putting any pressure on them. Carving the elbows in towards the body. And then legs down. Lift your hips up first. Then your belly, then your chest. Push back to down dog. One more time. Come to your plank position. Down on your knees if you want, or stay on your toes. Lunge down. Slowly go down. Chest, belly, hips. Lift the chest up, lift the ribs, lift the legs, point the toes, hold it here. A little challenge if you want it, lift the hands off the floor, extend the arms out in front of you,
hold. If you have the hands out in front of you, slowly bring them back, place them on the mat, lower your legs, dig your toes in, lift your hips up first, then your belly, then your chest, then go down to downward facing dog. Lift your left leg up in the air, left foot comes between the hands. We're gonna be entering into warrior two. So ground your stance first. When you're ready, lift your upper body up and enter into warrior two. Bending that left knee, so warrior two, our hips are side by side facing the side of the mat, parallel. You're looking over your left finger. Your arms are the same height. Watch that right arm that it's not dipping down. And hold it there. Bend that left leg a little bit more. Equal pressure between the right leg and the left. This spider is having babies, I can tell. It's huge. All right, we're gonna challenge ourselves. So we're taking the right hand palm up, left hand palm up, and I want you to reach over to the side. So go into a side bend and then come back to your warrior two with the palms down. So flip the palms up, reach your right arm over your head, side angle, and then come back to warrior two. Keep that left knee back. Okay, keep the left knee back. Keep the left knee stuck, flip the hands over. Sharon, watch your left knee is falling inward. There we go. There you go, and come back. So you're just flowing over to the side and then back to warrior two. Flip the hands, lean over to the side, and then come back. Nice job, 2 more times. Flip the hands, lean over to the side, and come back. Flip the hands again. 1 more time, turn the hands up, reach over to the side, come back to warrior two, hands down. And now I just want you to push your left leg straight. Left leg straight. Keep the arms up. Turn the left foot in. Place your hands on your hip and lean forward. Lift the bum up. Keep your hands on your hips and just hold this stretch. And slowly bring the hands to the floor. They're going right in the middle here. And the elbows are pointing backwards. And I want you to just bend the elbows. Wide leg forward fold. So you're just gonna come up halfway onto your fingertips. So arms come out in front of you just a little. And then I'm gonna get you to bend your right knee, straighten it, and bend the left knee. So the fingers can move around as you need them to. And I just wanna get into the inner thighs for a stretch here a little bit more. So we're basically just going from side to side. Try to keep your feet pointing straight ahead. And just do this nice and slowly. Again, move your fingers, move your arms as you need to. I want you to bend that right knee and hold the right side. Your right foot, so we're gonna get into our warrior two, facing the back of the mat. So my right foot's gonna turn now to face the back of the mat. And then slowly help yourself up. So you can put your hand on your right thigh, slowly lift up, stack your upper body over your hip, ease into your warrior two. So we're now facing the back of the mat. Hopefully a smooth transition here. Keep the arms up. Keep the shoulders down and pressed away from the ears. Just be mindful of that left arm, that it doesn't drag down. Looking over your right finger. Flip the hands, palms up.
Lean over to the side, scoop the left arm over the head, side bend, and then come back to warrior two. Flip the hands back down. Keep that right knee bent. Watch that it doesn't fall in. Flip the hands up, lean over to the side, come back. Take a deep breath in. Flip the hands, exhale, and lean over. I just want you to continue for about 3 more of these. Nice and slow. Rotating those hands, shoulders each time. One more time. And hold your warrior two. You're gonna straighten out the right leg, turn your foot in, hands on the hips. Let's do that again. Forward fold, lift your tailbone up, lean forward, hinge at the hips. Hold down there, and now I'm gonna get you to web your hands behind your back. So web your fingers together, and then lift the arms up. Relax the head all the way down. See if you can touch your thumbs together. Lifting the arms up, stay within your range of motion here, feeling a nice stretch in the front of the shoulder. Stay in this pose, but just bring the arms down back to your low back, and then let the hands release, bring them down to the floor, bending the elbows, pointing them backwards. Drop your head down a little bit more. And then we're gonna come up halfway onto our fingertips. Arms come out in front of us. We'll go back to that side to side movement. So starting to bend the right leg and the left leg. Just going nice and slowly from side to side. Move your hands as you need to. Just look at your feet. Make sure they're pointing straight ahead. They're flat on the floor. We're gonna hold the left leg being bent. So hold the bent, that made no sense, but hold the left leg bent, right leg straight, and I just want you to hold the stretch. So nice, big, huge inner thigh stretch here. Right foot stays flat on the floor. Make sure it's not curling up. And then let's walk over the other side and hold the opposite side. So bending that right knee, sink back into your hips. Just look over at your left foot, flat on the floor. And then we're gonna come back to center. And from this position, I'm gonna get us into a goddess pose. So you're gonna bring your heels in a little. You're gonna have to kind of shimmy into this. So your feet are walking in a little, toes out to the side. And then I'm gonna get you to kind of hold a suspended squat. And your elbows are on the inside of your knees. Your hands are in prayer. And if that doesn't feel good, play around with your feet coming closer together. So find your stance. Play around with it. And then once you're in that goddess pose, I want you to just kind of shift around in it from side to side. Try to avoid leaning forward too much. Get your back up nice and tall. Do what you can. Make modifications if you need it. And just opening up the hip. Let's settle in the center. Let's see if we can get the feet a little bit closer together. Toes out to the side, heels in. And now we're really pressing the hands together and we're pushing your knees open. So your elbows are just gonna push, open the knees, hands together in prayer, back up nice and tall, getting a big stretch for the hips and the inner thigh.
and your low back. So make sure you're not doing this thing. So some of you are too rounded. Lift up. Your back should be nice and tall. Feet on the floor. Elbows up high. Woo! Big on the hips here. So holding it for another 15 seconds. So this is a great hip opener, good back opener. And if you're ever constipated, here's your pose to get things moving. Nice job. So I'm gonna get you to bring your hands to the floor, one hand behind you, one hand in front of you, and slowly come down into a seated position. I'm gonna have you extend the legs out in front of you in staff pose. Flex your feet, flex your toes, spread out your toes, reach your arms overhead. And then I want you to lean forward with a long back. So make sure we're not going like this. Lean forward with a long back, hands land wherever they land. And I just want you to get that nice stretch going. Maybe in your low back, you might be getting this in your glutes or hamstring. And just hold it here. So avoid collapsing. Try to lengthen. Hands are planted on the floor, right beside your legs. Look at your toes. See if you can spread out your toes. And then we're going to release and slowly help ourselves down to Shavasana. So very slowly working the core, go down, take your time, one vertebrae at a time. And once your head and your body are flat on the floor, you're going to tuck the left knee into the chest just to get a bit of a low back stretch release there. And then left leg goes down, right knee tucks into the chest. Right leg goes down, and then we're gonna go into a butterfly stretch, soles of the feet together. Allow your hips to open up, your knees to fall down by the side. And then we're gonna relax the arms down by the side, knuckles down, palms up, eyes closed, mouth closed. And just taking a few moments to breathe. Allow the body to relax into the mat. Relax your shoulder blades in the mat. Relax all your face muscles. Your forehead, your cheek, your eyes. Very slowly draw your knees together and extend your legs nice and straight. We're just going to hold it for 1 more minute. Finding some silence in your mind. Just do another scan of the body. Make sure everything's just relaxing down in the mat. Your bum, your legs, your arms. Face is relaxed. And very slowly bend your knees, feet on the floor. And then you're going to pull your knees into your chest with your hand, keeping your eyes closed. And just tucking the knees in, rolling your back. Giving your back a little massage with the floor. Guide your knees over to the right, going into a very gentle twist. Extend the left arm out to the side on the floor. And then tuck the knees back into the chest. And bring them over to the other side. Extending the right arm on the floor. And then stay on the left side, bring your right arm in and turn all the way over. Getting into table, finishing off with a cat-cow, so just rounding out the back. Connect back with your breath, a couple breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Move with the pose. And you're going to settle to neutral position. Push yourself up into a forward fold. So hands walk towards the feet, just hanging down. And just slowly walk your hands up your legs. Ease your way up. Place the hands on the low back. Push your hips forward. Lean back a bit. And you are done, folks. Thank you so much for joining. I hope you have a glorious day.